Good morning. This is Bill from Curious Cars on, what's again kind of a lovely and crisp Florida winter's morning here in Naples. I mean, it's early November, it's like 65 out, the humidity is not really there, and I am in a sort of paradise. It's obviously unusual. I spend a lot of time bitching about the weather, but today it's nice. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to soak it up. I'm going to love it, and the hell with it. And this one isn't going to take long. What we've got here is my golf cart, and it has a long and storied history within my little community. It was, how do I put this? I built a golf cart back in the mid 2005 or 6. I bought a club car and I kind of put it together. I put some accoutrements on it, a horn on top, and I ended up selling the thing to Peter. It's actually sitting over there somewhere. In fact, let me walk over to it, because the thing was actually really nice when I bought it. Or certainly when I finished it, and then Peter just went ahead and destroyed it. He has another destroyed cart over there. But this thing was mint, and he had decided he wanted it. God, I should have parked up closer for this. But you can see what he turned the thing into. It basically looks like the golf cart they'd use at a junkyard now. Devastating. Absolutely devastating. This thing was a champion back in the day with the horn and all that. Look at the club car badge and the headlights. It's just sad. Anyway, so I had that golf cart for whatever reason. I don't know if I needed the dough, what the problem was. I decided to sell the damn thing and move on. Well, I live in this little community that it's nice to have a golf cart in. So very quickly I ended up buying another one. Again, we're going back to like 2008 here. And the other one was just not very nice. I mean, it was beat up. I think it had been spray bombed. And I wanted it to be a little bit nicer. So I started working on it. And every time I would do something to it, like I started with the battery tray and, some other crap, and it just, you fix something and then the thing next to it looks like crap. And it just started spiraling out of control from there. But anyway, before we get into it, let me give you a brief history of the golf cart. As you know, Mark Twain famously called golf a good walk spoiled, and I tend to agree with him, because despite years of lessons and my mother's incredible desire for me to become a good golfer so it would, be a way for me to network with people she wanted me to network with. That did not work out at all, by the way. I still suck at golf, and I just can't, I'm the hack who goes out there, shoots a 105, has a miserable time doing it, and if I get anywhere in the 90s, I feel like Jack Nicklaus. So it's just a crappy way for me to do it. But since golf was invented, it was a big, long walk. People went out there with their clubs, they walked around. Fast forward to like 1930-something, a guy named Lyman Beecher of Clearwater, Florida. I don't know if he was just fat or if he, had a bad leg or whatever, but he said he wanted a way to get carried around the golf course. And what happened was he invented this kind of rickshaw-looking thing that could be towed around by a couple of caddies for him and his fat buddy. And they basically invented the first golf cart, and they did some stabs at it over the years, but it really didn't take off till the 1950s when the technology after the war kind of improved. And then go to 1954, and two brothers, and I don't even think they were that fat. They just decided that they wanted to have golf carts, and they were in Augusta, Georgia, in a tiny little garage. They built the first Easy Go cart. Guys named Billy, and check this out, Beverly Dalton. I mean, you gotta feel bad for that cat. I don't think he got teased in grade school. Hey, Beverly. Anyway, they invented, or at least they produced an Easy Go golf cart, which started taking off. People started using it, and then a company called Textron bought it in 1960, very quickly thereafter. And then it foments into scandal. The two brothers kept working for Textron for a while, and then in the 70s, one of them left with another guy to form Club Car, and then I think there were some murders and rapes involved, but anyway, a vicious history of the golf cart. That's it very briefly. And anyway, so now golf carts are everywhere. They're in every course. There's rentals, golf cart. At first, golf courses didn't like carts, and then they decided, holy shit, we can rent these things and make a fortune. So obviously that took off. And then people are generally lazy, so they wanted them. So here we are. And now we live in a world where golf carts are just about everywhere, in neighborhoods, schools, prisons, high school. Everywhere you go, you see golf carts, and it's become a very big business. But back to this one. So I started fixing it up. I fixed up this, that, the other. Then the thing next to it was crap. Before I knew it, the entire thing was in pieces. Not a single nut, bolt, screw, or anything remained. And I had sent the frame out, and I had it powder coated. The suspension went out and got powder coated. I scoured eBay and the websites and ordered everything new that I could. And it became this bizarre mission to just make this cool golf cart. And I got it about 80 to 85% there. And then I was buying a house. I know, I'm so sorry that you guys have to, anybody watching this, I apologize. I mean, we'll be back to cars soon. But anyway, I was going to buy a house, that minutia history. And I sold the thing to Andrew. If you remember, he's the evil son of a bitch with all the guns in the cars, who's the most horrible practical joker on earth. But he had ready cash. I sold the cart to him, and he started dicking around with it. At that stage, it didn't have a top. It didn't have a lot of stuff, but he was going to finish it. He fooled around with it for a year or two and ended up selling it to Penelope, if you know her. I mean, this is just a weird incestuous story. So Penelope did some more crap to it, but she never has time for anything, trying to innovate her feminine hygiene, product line. So she ends up selling it to Al. And I've talked about Al before. He's a guy I raced with. Very, very cheap guy, but very nice guy. And he had it for a while. Then the motor blew up on Al, so he put some kind of hot rod motor in it. He kept it for a while, and then he sold it to Chris, the worst human on earth. We've talked about Chris before. I feel like I'm even missing a step here. I feel like there's someone else involved, but I'm going with it anyway. Anyway, so Chris takes the thing, and he starts fooling around with it. And now by this time, years have passed. I sold the thing originally in 2010. Fast forward to last year, 2022, and Chris has the thing sitting in his shop. I'm looking at it sitting there, and he's doing nothing with it. And so I agreed to buy it from Chris. It sits in his shop for another year because he's supposed to fix some issue with it, which he finally does, which I'll get into when we look at the batteries. But anyway, there it is. So, I mean, the thing underwent one of the most radical restorations that anyone's bothered to do with a golf cart. I mean, all the body panels got sent over to the body shop. They were painted 2002 Plymouth, I guess it was a Chrysler Prowler at that stage, copper. The new mat, that part under the seat is part of the powder-coated frame. Andrew had sent the seats out to have them redone. They got done in that carbon fibery look there. He also added the back seat kit to it. I didn't have that at the time. And it just kept spiraling on from there. I was going to use this thing as Sebring, as a race car support vehicle, where you go and get tires and whatnot. You can see these things are cool. These rear rests flip over, then you can lift this up. Oh god. And anyway, then it gets kind of a pickup truck bed, and that's where we were going to put the slicks that we bought at the truck and bring them back to the car, but that never really materialized. And secondary to that, the thing became kind of too nice to beat the shit out of at the track, so I put it in the garage and I use it kind of sparingly. And I just think, man, I don't want to own anything anymore. I just don't, and so it's going to go. The top was always an issue on it. It came with this original short top, which was ugly. Trying to figure out what to do, and then I found this sort of Fantasy Island looking thing on Amazon. I still had the front support for the windshield. The rear supports were there, but they didn't work very well. And Alvaro, the mechanic, he, one of these jack of, he just hammered out a couple of rear supports, and then I had our paint guy paint them. But anyway, it just started coming together. And I mean, if you look at this thing, I mean, you go into the suspension there, you can see everything was powder coated, and the leaf springs are all powder coated. I probably spent $2,000 in stainless hardware at Sunshine Ace, you know, just putting the thing together. I put a Yeti gearbox in the back because it fit nice. Chris had a subwoofer in there that wasn't connected to anything. When I bought it, I bought this Memphis soundbar from him, which is supposedly fancy. It's hard to see, but it fits between the seats kind of nicely there and works out. The dash was also cracked and pink at the time because Chris had put it together for Al, and he covered it in pink because, you know, well, Chris is just, that's who Chris is. So I took that out, I remade it, I covered it in a black felt, put some switches in it so I could get, this actually worked out well. This is a really cheap Chinese, it wasn't that cheap, but cheap enough. What do they call it? Like a portable car stereo. And because of that, it comes in the size that actually makes it, you know, makes it fit the dash. It's not a standard stereo size. It worked out really well, and I kind of like it. And you get into the phone here. Let's see if I can find this. There's a control for it. Yeah, there it is. Play. No, of course, and of course now it doesn't work. Just hit it from here if it works. Yeah, there we go. But anyway, so you get CarPlay at the dash, which is kind of cool. Turn that back off. And I found this glove box / cup holder thing for a boat. Boats and hose. Yeah, it's nice to have a little place to put crap. I do have a couple of phone mounts that I'm going to put in it that haven't been in yet. I put in these weird under dash lights, which maybe you can kind of see. They look good at night. And otherwise, just kind of like the switch panel. And this tinted windshield was nice. Flips down so you can get some air, or flips up so you don't get rain. I found this like $800 mirror. All right, it was like $150, but it's a racing mirror. And I thought, look, anything I put on this thing, I'm going to make nice. I mean, the hell with it, you know. I went to all the trouble of building it. Why put cheap crap on it? And the final little touch was using this brass skull as the forward and reverse lever. And, you know, I do have a theory that the more skulls you have on a vehicle, it's inversely proportional to the IQ of the person driving it. But you know, in this case, I broke my own rule and I put a skull on it, and I figure one is fine, and my IQ isn't that high anyway. So anyway, there it is. There is a very quick tour of the golf cart. I'm going to pause for a minute, show you underneath the seat where all the Tesla style batteries are, and then we're going to keep going from there. And no, they're not Tesla style batteries. I'm just making a joke about Teslas being golf carts. Anyway, bear with me a minute. All right, I've got the seat off, and now we can get to sort of the mechanical heart of this thing. And I imagine this isn't too different from, you know, a Tesla when you pull the battery cover off. This is probably what you're going to see is some Rural King batteries. But anyway, there it is. There's 6 batteries. They're from Rural King. These are the ones that Chris, the worst human on earth, had to buy. I bought the cart back from him. He said he would fit. It wasn't quite, you know, it wasn't smooth. There was something going on with it, and he thought it was a wiring issue. Well, it turned out to need batteries, and we struck the deal before that. So he was miserable that he had to go and buy batteries for this thing, and frankly, that cheered me up a great deal. But anyway, you can see, I think that is the converter that takes the high voltage of the cart and turns it into a steady 12-volt supply. There's the ground and fuse box over there, of course, marine style for, you know, golf carts. I do like electric carts because they're peaceful. You know, the way that I use them, I'm driving the thing around the neighborhood, and yeah, anyway. But that's what it looks like under there. You know, fairly nice, fairly well put together, and those great, fresh, crisp batteries dated April of 23. God, does that just cheer me up. Anyway, I'll get the cover back on, then we'll go for a spin. All right, so let's take it for a ride. You know, I'll put this hot rod motor in the thing, which, you know, it's good, but it's just too responsive. I mean, it's hard to kind of smooth it forward. It just really wants to go. I think we can go through Peter's yard in a golf cart. And again, I do like electric carts. I know a lot of people like gas because, well, look, we're going to hit this cat. Oh, yeah, she got out of the way. But anyway, there it is. There's the long test drive right around the, let's do that one more time around the driveway. Hey, baby. But anyways, this is what a golf cart is. I mean, you're just, way to get from point A to point B on a small scale. And just kind of a fun thing to have around and occasionally useful. So anyway, I've decided to hell with it. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to run it through this premier auction. Very nice guys. Friends of mine run it. It's up in Punta Gorda. I want to say December 1st and 2nd of this year. And hell with it. It's going to go through there, move on, and, maybe I'll put another 15 grand in a different golf cart later on, but I sure as hell hope not. I think this is a one-time thing that's never going to happen again, and thank God for that. So anyway, there it is. There's my short video on a 13-year in the family golf cart project that's now going to go away. So thank you very much. Be back soon with a proper car, and we will see you with the next one.